Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is September 23rd, and we're on page 68. And we're talking about the reasons behind our sweet tooth. And of course, a sweet tooth is like a desire or craving for sweets.
OK, 我们的中文标题是甜蜜蜜，你笑得甜蜜蜜，这显然是跟一首歌有关系。但是前面的甜蜜蜜呢，不是那个很甜很甜的甜蜜蜜，而是甜的秘密啊，所以这是一个秘密，这是一个 secret， 所以就是跟我们的英文标题很接近啊，就是我们为什么喜欢吃甜的，背后有什么这个秘密呢？啊，这个中文标题是这个意思。那英文呢 ，the reasons behind 就什么东西背后的原因。好，那 sweet tooth 就是喜欢吃甜食的那种感觉啊。A fondness or craving for sweets. 你很想吃，很喜欢吃甜的东西。
Okay, let's read our article. Ask anyone if they have a sweet tooth, and chances are the answer will be a strong yes. Many people have a craving for sugary foods and drinks, so much so that they indulge in eating them to excess.This overconsumption of sugar on a regular basis has led to a host of negative consequences, including obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. That raises the question, if sugar can lead to such harmful health issues, why do most people love it so much? It's a question that scientists have been studying for a while, and the answer to it can be traced back to our evolutionary roots.As it turns out, although sugar is a health hazard today due to the large quantities we consume, our powerful desire for it comes from the substance's beneficial side. Specifically, sugar's benefits can be categorized in two ways. First, it provides us with calories, which gives us energy. Second, sugar assists with the creation and retention of fat. Nowadays, it's easy to become overweight,especially with so much tempting food available. However, our ancestors didn't have it so easy. For early humans and the animals they evolved from, life was much more of a struggle, and finding a sufficient amount of food to survive was often a challenge. Moreover, there was far less sugary food in the environment.Most of the sugar humans ate at that time came from fruit and starchy vegetables such as carrots. Therefore, scientists believe it was a definite evolutionary advantage for animals and humans to enjoy sugary foods. This is because it gave them needed energy and the ability to store more fat to survive in difficult times, thereby allowing them to have more offspring and pass on their genes.Okay, we're going to stop here because this is a 2-day article, and we're going to go back to the beginning and talk about our first sentence. And the first sentence is, ask anyone if they have a sweet tooth, and chances are the answer will be a strong yes. But I want to say that in Taiwan, as compared to the U.S., the chances are not going to be as strong that people are saying yes, because Americans are absolutely addicted to sugar in my somewhat informed opinion. However, in Taiwan, my experience is that a lot fewer people are deeply into sweet flavors. And in fact, often people will reject certain desserts saying like, oh, that's too sweet. I don't like that. Which you would never, I can't imagine an American saying something is too sweet. So, yeah.
OK, 好，所以这个刚刚 Angela 讲到这个他觉得台湾的人吃甜食呢，还没有美国人那么严重哈。那我是觉得台湾其实也蛮严重的，可是可能跟美国比起来，真的是比较，也许没有那么的当然没有那么多人那么爱吃甜，而且吃的那么甜。好，刚刚 Angela 说，在台湾呢，有的时候我们会说啊，那个太甜了，我不要吃啊。他说这个在美国不容易听到。啊，确实，我在美国喝那个珍珠奶茶，我都甜死我了。
Oh my God! Like
真的是觉得，我觉得那个里面放的是糖水还是怎么样，比我们的糖水，差不多就是我们做的糖水那种感觉啊，非常的甜。
Yeah, I mean here in Taiwan, if you order like 奶茶, you can say that you want how much sugar you want.
Yeah,
There's no such option in the U.S. You get it at full sweet. You just get it at tooth-decayingly sweet levels of sweet. I can't handle desserts in the U.S. It's way too sweet.
所以美国的很多甜食都非常的甜哈。好，那我们看到这个句子，他说 这个句子这种句型各位其实可以学起来啊，就是他这一开始说 ask anyone if 就是你随便问一个人任何人都可以，你问他有没有 have a sweet tooth 就他是不是喜欢吃甜食，然后呢 chances are 就有很大的机会多半就是这样啊，所以你问这个人说你随便问一个人你是不是喜欢吃甜食啊，多半这个答案大概就是怎么样呢，就是会是一个 a strong yes 一个很坚决很坚定的一个 yes 是的我喜欢吃甜食。
Now, many people have a craving for sugary foods and drinks. To have a craving for is not just that you like them. It means that you really want them. And if someone were to say no to you, you'd be really angry. Like you have like a strong emotional need for sugary foods and drinks, for sweet foods and drinks. So much so that they indulge in, to indulge in something means to eat it even though you know it's kind of bad for you. They indulge in eating them to excess, eating them way, way, way too much of them.
好，那很多人呢 have a craving for 各位把它学起来就是非常想要某个东西所以这个 craving 在这里它其实是这个很强的欲望所以 to have a craving for 就是 to desire intensely 这个你很想要某个东西的意思，所以很多人呢都很喜欢吃sugary 就是含糖的甜的这种 foods and drinks 甜的食物跟甜的饮料 so much so that 这个他们喜欢到什么样的程度呢 so much 非常的喜欢他们非常喜欢吃甜食到什么程度呢，到他们会 indulge in indulge in 就是放纵或者是沉溺于什么他们放纵自己沉溺于 eating them 吃甜食 them 就是指甜食，然后呢to excess 就是吃的过度excess 就是超过了 ex 是 out 嘛，那 cess 是 go 对 go out 你已经超过了那个限度了，所以 to excess 就是过量了。
This overconsumption, to consume something is to eat it, and over is to do it to excess. So this excessive consumption, this excessive eating, this overconsumption of sugar on a regular basis. We're not just eating too much sugar, we're doing it regularly. We're doing it all the time. And the fact that we're doing it all the time is almost worse than we just do too much at once, because when you do something regularly, it has an effect that layers on. It has a consistent effect. And so this regular overconsumption of sugar has led to a host of negative consequences. Consequences are what happens. Negative are bad things that happen. And a host of means a huge number of. Like, actually, the most common use of a host of is a host of angels, which in the Bible means the superabundant amount of angels. But we're talking about angels, we're talking about bad results. So this has led to so many negative consequences, some of which include obesity, being way too fat, diabetes, which is your body's inability to process sugar, and heart disease, which is your heart getting sick.
OK, 好，那这个地方讲到说，这种 overconsumption of sugar 就是过度的食用糖呢，就糖的过度食用，而且是 on a regular basis。on a regular basis 就是 quite often 这个或者是 in a regular manner 很长，而且是或者是固定的这个使用或者是过度食用糖呢。has led to 导致了 a host of 就是很多很多的意思这个 host 它可以指 an army 所以它本来 host 本来就有那种 a great number 的意思，所以 a host of 就很多很多的，所以你如果固定的吃过量的糖的话，就会导致很多的 negative 负面的 consequences 后果，包括什么负面的后果呢？ obesity 就是病态的或者是致病的，会让你生病的那种肥胖，或者是 diabetes 就是糖尿病，还有呢 heart disease 就是心脏方面的疾病。
So this whole thing, this fact that there's so many negative consequences, that raises the question, that makes us think of a question, which is, if sugar can lead to such harmful health issues, if sugar is so bad for us, Why do most people love it so much? Why do we like eating it if it's going to damage our bodies? You would think your body wouldn't want something that damages it.
好 ，That raises the question， 类似我们中文讲的问题来了，或者是这让我们不禁要问啊，所以我们这个让我们不禁要问 ，if sugar 如果糖可以 lead to 导致 such 这样的一种 harmful 一些有害的 health issues， 这 issues 在这里就是指 problems。好，所以呢，如果糖会带来这么多有害的健康问题的话，那 why do most people？ 但是那这样的话，为什么大多数的人 love it so much， 还是这么喜欢它
And this is a question that scientists have been studying for a while. You know, our science has been into this as a question, and the answer to this question can be traced back, can be found in our evolutionary roots. It can be found back in our history and how we developed as a species.
好，所以这是一个 question， 这个问题是怎么样？这是一个 scientists have been studying for a while， 这是一个科学家已经研究了一段时间的一个问题。然后呢，这个底下这里各位也可以把它背起来，我觉得这个 chunk 很好哈。The answer to it can be traced back to， 就这个东西的答案可以被追溯到。好 ，trace 就是追溯，所以你可以把这个问题，你要找这个问题答案，你可以追回到，那在这里追回到哪里去呢？追回到我们的 evolutionary roots， 我们的演化上面的 roots 就是根源啊，所以换句话说，这跟我们演化的时候最早的那个状态，那个根源是有关系的啊，所以 roots 在这里可以说是 a source of existence， 或者是一个 primary source。So,
as it turns out, and that's a great sort of very fast transition thing from A to B. So we're saying the result of what we're just, the answer to that question is, or the more detailed answer to that question is, so as it turns out, although sugar is a health hazard today, even though it is bad for us today, due to the large quantities we consume, because we eat so much of it, our powerful desire for it, our cravings for it, comes from the substance's beneficial side. So actually sugar is good for us in a certain way. And it's just like the famous saying about spice in English. Spice is nice, too much isn't. So sugar is nice, too much isn't.
好，没错，好，是这个东西是好的，但是太多就不好。好，所以 as it turns out 啊，我中文可以把它翻成事实证明。好 ，as it turns out， 虽然 sugar is a health hazard， 这个 a health hazard 就是说它对健康是有害的，对健康会带来风险。好 ，hazard 在这里就是 a possible source of danger 的意思。好，我们常常讲了 a fire hazard， 就这个地方很容易会失火，那就叫做一个 a fire hazard。所以这个地方讲到说，糖虽然是一个对健康有害的东西啊 ，today 今天我们看糖，它是对健康有害的 ，due to， 但是这是因为什么呢？因为 the large quantities we consume， 好，因为我们所食用的大量的这个量 ，large quantities 就指的是那个量啊，我们吃的是大的量。那 consume 在这里其实就是食用的意思，好 ，eat or drink up 的意思，好 ，to take in as food 叫 consume 啊，那。所以主要的问题是我们吃太多糖了，所以今天它才会成为一个 health hazard。所以这里讲到说，虽然糖今天是对我们有害的，但是呢 ，our powerful desire for it， 我们那种对于它的很强烈的那个欲望呢 ，comes from 是来自于这个 substances， the substance 就是指 sugar 啊，换一个字，所以我们对于它强烈的欲望是来自于这个物质，也就是糖的一些 beneficial side 是有益的 ，beneficial 是有益的。side 就是那个面向啊，所以是虽然它今天是有害的，可是我们对于它的这个强烈的需求或者是愿望呢，想要吃呢，其实是因为它原本有益处的那一边。
And this beneficial side, what are we talking about? Specifically, sugar's benefits can be categorized in two ways. So we're going to specifically talk about two ways that we can that sugar is good for us.
好，所以 specifically 就是具体的说呢，糖的好处can be categorized 被分类啊 in two ways 就是分成两类的意思。
First, it, meaning sugar, provides us with calories. It gives us calories, which gives us energy, because calories are just a measure of energy. So you eat sugar and you've got energy to do things. Anybody who's tired and eats a candy bar knows this.
好，所以首先呢 it provides us with 就它提供给我们什么呢？好 provide 人 with 物，好，它提供给我们什么？提供给我们 calories 卡路里 which 就是指着卡路里呢 give us energy 它给我们能量。
Second, sugar assists with, it helps with the creation and retention, the keeping of fat. Who knew sugar makes you fat? Sugar helps us put fat on our bodies. It's a very efficient way of storing fat is by eating sugar.
那其次呢，糖 assist with 就是 assist 就从旁协助的意思，所以糖可以协助我们，好，协助什么东西呢 ？The creation 它可以协助创造，也可以 retention 就是保留。of fat 它可以帮我们制造脂肪，而且可以帮我们留下脂肪啊，这是我们不要的，但是远古的时候可能需要。好，所以 anyway retention 它的动词是 retain 啊 ，R-E-T-A-I-N 哈。那 retain 这个 tain 是 hold 的意思，握住的意思 ，reach back， 所以 hold back 就是保留，不让你跑掉，那叫 retain。And
now I know that especially women, we're all told you shouldn't have any fat on your body. But I'm here to tell you that actually fat is really super necessary, especially for women who are about to be in menopause or who are in menopause, who are past menopause. Why? Because once your ovaries stop producing hormones, your body depends on fat to produce the necessary estrogen to keep you healthy. And you need estrogen as a woman to keep you healthy. So if you don't have enough fat, you can't produce enough estrogen and you'll have a lot of weird health effects. So women who are getting older and you're worried about the extra weight you're putting on, please don't worry about it. That's your body doing you good. Your body is like, yep, you need this fat to be healthy. So just accept it. It's good to have it. We need to change our standards for women to accept that actually women need more fat on their bodies to be healthy.
Yeah, so fat is nice, too much isn't.
Yeah, well, yes.
好，不过刚刚这个 Angela 老师呢，给我上了一课健康教育哈。这个地方呢，讲到他说他提到一个很重要的字啊 ，menopause 就是更年期啊，就是 menopause 啊。那所以他说这个女性呢在更年期当中或者更年期之后呢其实是需要这个 fat 需要脂肪的啊，因为在更年期或者更年期之后呢这个已经女性的身体会停止制造这个所谓的雌激素哈 estrogen 啊 E-S-T-R-O-G-E-N 啊，这是雌激素。好，那停止制造雌激素，这个时候呢身体就要靠脂肪来制造这个雌激素啊，所以其实脂肪对女性来讲是相当重要的啊。
Okay, but nowadays it's easy to become overweight because sugar is so readily available in so many amazing and delicious forms that you can just literally buy on your way home from the subway. Like it's just way too easy to buy sugar, especially with so much tempting food available and for so cheap.
好，所以呢他说这个现在呢 nowadays 就是 in these times 啊，现在这个年代呢 it's easy to become overweight， 很容易就会体重过重 overweight 啊，尤其是 with 就是有这样的一个状况，什么状况呢 so much 有这么多的 tempting food available。 好， tempting 就是 attractive啊，或者是这个 inviting 啊，就一直告诉来啊，来吃啊，来吃啊，哈，好像一直在邀请你来吃那种感觉啊，就是很有诱惑性的啦。好，所以有这么多非常有诱惑力的这样的 food 啊，这样的食物，那 available 就是你可以取得啊，它通常 available 放在一个名词的后面，表示可以取得。所以尤其在现在，你可以取得这么多这个很有诱惑能力的，或者很有诱惑的，对你产生很大诱惑的这样的食物，你当然就很容易就 overweight。However,
our ancestors didn't have it so easy. The people, our fathers and mothers and their mothers' mothers, they didn't have 7-Elevens on every corner.
Yeah.
They didn't have 7-Eleven.
Yeah, ancestors, 我们的祖先 didn't have it so easy， 就是对他们来讲可没有这么容易就可以取得这些东西，对他们来讲这可不是件容易的事情，就是这么容易取得这些甜食。
For early humans and the animals they evolved from, life was much more of a struggle. It was much harder to live then, and finding a sufficient amount of food, finding enough food to survive, was often a challenge. So it was much more difficult to get the calories you needed on a daily basis.
好，对于早期的人类来讲 for early humans， 还有对于 the animals they evolved from， 对于那些人类从哪些动物演化而来的这样的一些动物啊，那 evolve 就是演化。好，那对这些对早期人类还有这个我们不管从哪个动物演化来的这样的一些动物来讲呢 ，life 生活呢，或者是生命呢 was much more of a struggle 啊，所以这应该是生活了。生活呢was more of 是比较是，生活比较像是，但是 much more of 就是更像是，生活非常像是一个 struggle， 一个挣扎啊，一个奋斗。好，你每天都要奋斗，奋力一搏，那很辛苦的。好，而且呢，你要接下来讲到 finding a sufficient amount of food to survive， 你要找到足够量的食物来存活啊 ，sufficient 就足够的量足够的 sufficient。survive 就存活，你要找到足够的量的食物来存活呢 was often a challenge， 常常是一个很大的挑战。
Moreover, and what's more, there was far less sugary food in the environment. I need to tell you that most of our sugar-producing fruits and vegetables have been developed to be so by humans. When we were originally developing into human beings, there were very few foods that had any kind of sugar content.
好，所以此外 moreover there was far less 少多了 sugary food 带含糖的食物in the environment 在环境当中，也就是说在早期人类的环境当中呢，含糖的食物比现在少多了。现在很多含糖的食物都是后来才我们人类或者自然慢慢演化出来的。
Most of the sugar humans ate at that time came from fruit and starchy vegetables such as carrots. But I'm here to tell you again, that fruit and those carrots had much less sugar than they do in modern fruit and modern carrots.
所以 most of the sugar 大多数的糖 that humans ate at that time 就早期人类当时所吃的大多数的食物呢大多数的糖是 came from 是来自于水果或者是 starchy vegetables 就是淀粉类的蔬菜例如什么样？例如胡萝卜但是刚刚 Angel 老师一直强调，就算当时就算有这种所谓的胡萝卜，它也不像现在含有那么多的糖。
Therefore, scientists believe it was a definite evolutionary advantage for animals and humans to enjoy sugary foods. So since it was hard to find them, your body kind of prioritized having them, like, ooh, we're not going to get this much later, so let's get everything we can out of it now.
所以呢，科学家认为这是 a definite evolutionary advantage. Definite 就是绝对是。好，这绝对是一个 evolutionary advantage 演化的优势对于动物对人类来讲，你能够 enjoy 你这么喜欢吃这个甜的食物，这绝对是个演化的优势因为就像 Angel 老师刚刚讲的，这个因为糖不多，但是你又需要糖，所以你就慢慢演化就会告诉你说这个现在有糖你就赶快吃所以慢慢大家就变得很喜欢吃糖。
And this is because it gave them the needed energy and the ability to store more fat. And you needed fat to survive in difficult times because what is fat for besides producing hormones? We use it to store energy. And if you haven't been able to eat for a couple of days, you can live on your fat. If you don't have fat, you're probably not going to live. So it's important to store fat when possible. And that's why our bodies prioritize storing fat. And so those people that survived in difficult times lived and were able to marry and have children and pass on their genes, which is how evolution changes people. Like those who didn't survive, of course, didn't pass on their genes, and those that did. So those guys passed down their please store fat as much as possible genes to us, the beneficiaries, who now have too much sugar at our command and store fat way too easily.
好 ，This is because 这是因为 it 就是糖 gave them 给他们给这些早期的人类呢 needed energy 给他们所需要的能量，还有给他们一个能力哈 the ability 能够 store 能够储存 more fat 更多的脂肪，这样才能够 survive 才活下来啊，才能够活下来 in difficult times 在艰困的时期才能够活下来，因为要靠脂肪嘛啊。那 thereby 就是从而哈 by means of that 或者 because of that 从而 allowing them 让他们能够让他们得以 have more 有更多的 offspring 就是后代啊，这个是单复数同形啊，而且可以 pass on their genes 传下他们的基因啊，这其实也是告诉你说，就是喜欢吃糖的早期的人类呢，因为他们喜欢吃糖啊，所以他们能够存活下来，他们有比较多的脂肪，然后他们就能够传下他们的基因。那些不喜欢吃糖的早期人类呢，他们就没有活过来，就没有传下他们基因了啊。所以呢，我们这些被他们传下基因的这些后代，就多半都是喜欢吃糖的。
So now you know why we crave sugar so much, and why also you should still try to lay off of it. Now, this is the first half of the article. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the different types of sugars that are available to us in this modern age. Until then, bye-bye.